Imagine looking out your window and seeing a dinosaur walking down the street. Not in a movie, not in a museum, a real dinosaur. What would happen if dinosaurs were still alive in 2026? First, we need to change one thing about history. Around 66 million years ago, a massive asteroid struck Earth near what is now Mexico. The impact triggered dramatic environmental changes. Most non-avian dinosaurs disappeared, but one dinosaur lineage survived: birds. So technically, dinosaurs are still here, but imagine their larger relatives survived too. Tyrannosaurs, triceratops, long-necked giants, and thousands of other dinosaur species. How would our world look? The first thing that would change is the landscape. Modern cities were not designed for animals weighing several tons. Imagine a giant herbivore walking through a highway. Cars would stop, traffic would freeze. And suddenly, a normal morning commute would become very unusual. But the biggest problem would not be cities. It would be food. Large herbivores need enormous amounts of vegetation. A world filled with giant dinosaurs would require huge ecosystems to support them. Forests, grasslands, and wetlands would become incredibly important, and humans would have to share these environments. That means farms would face a serious challenge. Imagine planting thousands of crops. Then a herd of giant dinosaurs discovers your field. Your entire farm could disappear in minutes. So humans would need stronger barriers, different farming systems, and probably completely different ideas about where people could safely live. But what about predators? This is where things get interesting. A Tyrannosaurus would not spend its entire day chasing cars. Real predators usually conserve energy. They hunt when the opportunity is worth the effort. So a giant predator might avoid humans most of the time. But living near one would still be dangerous. You wouldn't want one wandering through your neighborhood. And this creates another question. Would humans try to eliminate dinosaurs? Probably not all of them, because dinosaurs would become incredibly valuable. Scientists would want to study them. Tourists would want to see them. Governments would want to protect them. And entire industries could develop around them. Imagine visiting a national park and seeing a living triceratops instead of a herd of buffalo, or watching a giant dinosaur migration from a protected viewing area. Dinosaurs could become one of the biggest attractions on Earth, but there would be another massive problem. Infrastructure, bridges, roads, buildings, airports. Everything would need to account for giant animals. A dinosaur walking across a bridge could be a serious engineering problem. A large animal near an airport could create another. And cities might need special wildlife corridors. Basically, humans would have to design civilization around dinosaurs. Even our farms might look different. Some areas could become dinosaur-proof agricultural zones. Other areas might be left completely wild. And perhaps the biggest change would be psychological. We would grow up knowing that giant prehistoric animals are still alive. Imagine a school trip where your teacher says, "Stay behind the barrier." And on the other side is a living dinosaur. For us, that would sound impossible. For children in that world, it would be normal. And that is something humans are incredibly good at. We adapt to whatever world we are born into. But would dinosaurs eventually become dangerous enough to threaten human civilization? Probably not in the way movies show. Humans have technology, we have cities, we have communication systems, and we are extremely good at changing environments. The bigger challenge would be coexistence, because dinosaurs would not understand human property lines. They wouldn't know where a national park ends. They wouldn't care about someone's backyard. They would simply follow food, water, and territory, and humans would have to adapt to that reality. Some dinosaurs might even become symbols of national parks and conservation. Others might disappear because modern environments could not support them, and some species might thrive. Especially smaller dinosaurs. Birds already show us how adaptable dinosaur descendants can be. Today you can see dinosaurs flying over cities. They are just much smaller than a Tyrannosaurus. So perhaps a world with living dinosaurs would not look completely alien. It would look familiar, but with one enormous difference. Every forest could hide something ancient. Every open field could contain a herd, and every road sign might need one more warning: dinosaur crossing. The strange part is that dinosaurs would probably change us as much as we change them. We would build differently, travel differently, farm differently, and think differently about nature. Because nature would no longer feel like something outside our cities. It would be walking right beside them. And maybe that's the most interesting part. If dinosaurs had survived for another 66 million years, they wouldn't necessarily look exactly like the dinosaurs in movies. They would have evolved too. New species could have appeared. Old species could have disappeared. Some might have become smaller. Others might have developed completely unexpected adaptations. The dinosaurs of 2026 could be creatures we wouldn't even recognize. And that's the real mystery. We don't actually know what evolution would have created, because evolution never follows a script. It simply responds to survival. So if dinosaurs were still alive today, humanity wouldn't necessarily be living in a dinosaur movie. We would simply be living in a different Earth, a world where skyscrapers share the horizon with giant animals, where highways cross prehistoric migration routes, and where a dinosaur isn't something you see in a museum. It's something you see outside your window. And perhaps the strangest thought is this: we think of dinosaurs as creatures from the past, but if they had survived, we might think of them completely differently. They wouldn't be ancient monsters. They would simply be animals, living alongside us, and maybe we would be the strange creatures in their world.